Hey, this is Paul Brawley with Fish Finder Guide Service. Hope everybody's having a good day. We're going to start out right here in the boat hole, and we're going to be looking at these little drops right in here on these points and some drops out in here. We're going to be looking to catch some speckled trout using croakers or piggy perch, or we're going to be looking closer in on the drops, which would be like right where it drops, using cut bait for redfish. This area right now, with the tides being low, seems to be holding some fish, but they're going to be on those drops only. Don't try to fish up on the flats. You'll probably see a lot of bait activity and stuff, but there's not many fish hanging on the flats. They're almost all hanging on the drops. You can try out here in all these cuts that are around this area right here. There's a lot of little cuts that run through there. I'm fishing mainly for trout through there. I'm using croakers. If I can get them, piggy perch seem to be working even better than the croakers. Right in there, you're going to get some tide runner trout. So if you get the tide coming in, you can probably catch some really nice ones. It'll be a little slower on an outgoing tide right in that area right there. All right, we're going to move to the south side of the JFK Causeway, and we're going to be looking right in this little zone. I call it the triangle there, that little triangle right there. You're going to be looking for redfish and trout using croakers or piggy perch if you can get them. You're going to want to free line those in the deeper areas. That area right there seems to be holding a lot of the oversized reds and some pretty good keeper trout. Just be patient. There's not a ton of fish there, but there's enough you can catch some. Right over here, there's another little pocket right in here that's been holding a little bit more of your 22 to 24, 25-inch range redfish. You might have throw some cut bait on the sand spots in there to see if you can pick up a couple of reds right in there. Be real careful through there. The underwater bridge pylons do run across the laguna in this area, so you always want to keep that in mind, especially on the lower tides. Moving on a little bit south of there, you're going to be looking right in this area here where the drop off is. The water's going to be real off colored up in this area here. You can go through there floating with shrimp and corks. You can do your free lining, your croakers or piggies. It'll be mainly trout and occasional redfish in there. You're going to be fishing between the grass from the dirty water out to the humble and back, and just kind of work that area. You'll see other boats drifting in there or power pulled down. Be mindful of other people. You want to stay away from them, give them their good respectful distance, and hopefully they'll do the same for you. But from there, we're going to move on a little bit more south. All right, we're going to be moving south of Pita Island into the natural gut. We're going to be looking at this drop on the east side all the way back over to Pure Oil Channel. This drop is a little different than probably what your GPS shows it because of the freeze. So there's a lot more sand in there. That's okay. Try to stay in about 3 foot of water. You're going to fish that early on this east side with croakers, some piggy perch if you can get them, and you're going to be throwing towards the west through here, and you're going to be looking for trout, and actually some scattered redfish have started showing up in there. Some of the reds are bull reds, some of them are keepers, but it seems to still have pretty decent reds in that area and lots of trout. You're really going to have to weed through them. On this other side over here, on this west drop, you're going to stay out a little bit deeper. You're going to be throwing to the very first grass spots you can see and maybe drifting up to the secondary grass, but don't get way up here on this grass pads because you will not get a bite again if you're in this area. You want to stay out here a little bit deeper and use your croakers, piggy perch. If you're just targeting reds, you can move in just a little bit off of the first grass and throw some cut bait and see if you can get you some reds on that part of King Ranch shoreline. But there's a lot of fish in that general zone right there, so y'all have good luck right through there. All right, we're going to be moving east next. We're going to be looking at all these little cuts like here, 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 all these little cuts and dents that are on the west side of the Intercoastal. You can use your trolling motor on spot lock. In particular, piggy perch are working the best. There's another little one right here. All these little channels and cuts that run into this big flat right here off the Intercoastal seem to be holding some trout right on the corners of the Intercoastal and these little cuts. There's several of them. You probably could pick up a flounder or two. For me, this area is holding piggy perch real well. There's also another little channel right here that kind of runs through the flat. That has been holding a few black drum. In the channel itself, some trout, and on the edges, on the outside, it's real shallow. So further outside on each side of the drops out here and out here, you could probably pick up some redfish right in that area. But all the little cuts coming off of the Intercoastal into the flats, the corners of them, north corner, south corner, it doesn't really matter. Use your spot lock and land right on those corners. I would be using piggy perch as much as I could through there, and you'll be picking up some pretty nice trout right in that area. All right, we're going to move a little further south. We're going to be straight across from Bird Island Basin, and we're going to be looking at all these spoils in here, all these different spoils through this area, even back this way a little bit, and the fronts of some of these spoils. You're going to be looking in there for redfish and trout. You can come to the back sides of some of these spoils even back in here. You're going to be looking for reds and trout using croakers, pin perch, cut bait, whatever you like. Seems like there's been holding a lot of nice redfish and nice trout tighter to these spoils. You don't want to get way up there into 4 and 5 inches of water, but you want to throw in the drops right off of all those spoils. You'll be able to tell the water will be off colored where it's a little deeper. You want to throw in that little deeper water, which would probably be 2 and 3 foot. You want to just kind of be patient through there, work your croakers, work your piggies, throw your cut bait, and you will find some pretty nice reds and trout all behind and around all of those spoils, from about, I don't know, the first island to the right or to the south, to the north of Bird Island, and then all the way to about 2 or 3 miles south of Bird Island off the Intercoastal. You're going to stay tight to the Intercoastal and just work all the spoil islands around there. Anyway, you guys have good luck. Be courteous to each other and catch a bunch of fish. Till next time.